Imagine living in a mansion with staircases that lead nowhere, doors that open into solid walls, and hallways designed not to confuse people, but spirits. This is the Winchester Mystery House, one of the strangest and most famously haunted homes in the entire world. But was it truly built to escape a ghostly curse, or was it simply the creation of a grieving woman lost to sorrow and superstition? The story begins with Sarah Winchester, the widow of William Winchester, who was the heir to the massive Winchester Repeating Arms Company fortune. After the tragic deaths of her infant daughter and later her husband, Sarah was left utterly devastated and alone. According to the popular legend, she sought guidance from a Boston psychic. This medium delivered a chilling message. Sarah was cursed, haunted by the vengeful spirits of every person ever killed by a Winchester rifle. The psychic claimed there was only one way to appease them and save her own life. She had to move west and continuously build a house for them. And she could never ever stop. And so Sarah Winchester packed her life and her immense fortune and moved to San Jose, California. There, she purchased an unfinished farmhouse and began a construction project that would defy all logic and continue for the rest of her life. For 38 years, from 1886 until her death in 1922, the sound of hammers and saws never ceased. Day and night, teams of carpenters worked in shifts, adding rooms, tearing down walls, extending hallways, and redesigning entire floors, all supposedly at Sarah's direction. The result was an architectural marvel of madness. The mansion grew into a sprawling labyrinth of over 160 rooms. It was filled with bizarre and nonsensical features. Staircases ascend several steps only to end abruptly at a ceiling. Doors on upper floors open outwards into nothing but a perilous drop to the ground below. Secret passages wind through the walls. Windows are set into floors, and other windows look not outside but into other rooms. The number 13 appears throughout the house. 13 bathrooms, 13 panes in windows, 13 steps on staircases. It's said that every night, Sarah would retreat to a special room called the Seance Room to commune with the spirits, receiving her architectural blueprints for the following day directly from the other side. The constant construction was meant to confuse the malevolent ghosts she believed were hunting her, trapping them in a maddening maze so they could never find her. It's no surprise that visitors, investigators, and paranormal enthusiasts alike claim the mansion is teeming with supernatural activity. They believe it is haunted by the very spirits Sarah tried so desperately to outwit. People have reported hearing phantom footsteps echoing down empty hallways, the faint sound of disembodied whispers in quiet rooms, and the chilling feeling of being watched by an unseen presence. Doors are said to open and close on their own, and doorknobs have been seen turning by themselves. Cold spots appear and disappear without explanation. Ghostly figures and shadowy apparitions are frequently reported wandering through the endless twisting corridors. Perhaps the most famous spirit said to reside there is that of Sarah Winchester herself. Her ghostly form has allegedly been seen, a silent, gliding figure still making her lonely rounds through the mysterious home she could never finish. This is the haunting, supernatural version of the story that has captivated the public for a century. But there is another side to this tale. Skeptics and historians offer a very different, and perhaps more tragic, explanation. They argue that much of the sensational story about the psychic, the curse and the ghosts was largely invented long after Sarah's death. Why? To sell tickets and create a supernatural legend that would draw tourists to the strange house. There is no concrete historical evidence, no letters or diaries, to prove that Sarah actually believed spirits were after her or that a psychic ever gave her that dire warning. Instead, they propose a more grounded theory. Sarah Winchester may have simply been a wealthy, eccentric, and profoundly lonely widow. Building this ever-expanding house might have been her way to cope with immense grief. The constant project gave her a purpose, a distraction from the loss of her family. It also provided jobs for many local craftsmen, making her a significant employer in the area. Her seemingly bizarre architectural choices might have had practical reasons. Architectural historians point out that in her later years, Sarah suffered from severe, debilitating arthritis. The strange, short riser staircases, often called easy risers, would have been much easier for her to navigate with her limited mobility. The winding hallways and lack of a master plan could simply be the result of an amateur architect continuously adding on to a structure for decades without a coherent blueprint. The house became a physical manifestation of her own mind, complex, private, and perhaps deeply sad. So we are left with two compelling possibilities, two entirely different stories living within the same walls. On one hand, you have the Winchester Mystery House as a supernatural labyrinth, a fortress built to confuse and imprison vengeful spirits, designed by a woman living in constant fear of a paranormal threat. On the other hand, you have the lifelong project of a wealthy, grieving and misunderstood woman, an architectural oddity born not of fear, but of sorrow, physical pain, and a desire to keep moving forward in the only way she knew how. Today, the Winchester Mystery House stands as a massive tourist attraction, a monument to its own enigmatic story. Visitors can walk its confounding halls and decide for themselves. Some walk away swearing they felt a ghostly presence watching them from around a dark corner, convinced the legends are true. Others leave believing it was all just a myth, the fascinating but ultimately explainable project of an eccentric woman. Is the mansion truly haunted by spirits from the past? Or is it simply haunted by its own powerful legend? In the end, which truth do you believe? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the world's greatest mysteries.